special call meeting of Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King, Master Barger,
Here.
Master Hughes,
Here.
Master Combs,
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. Order of business, award bid on the renovation of the inside of the Pleasant View House. And at this time, Greg Fitzsimons, who is the architect, and Stephen with Palmer is the engineering firm. And we have been fighting with this thing for 3 or 4 years now, between everybody, the Heritage Council and Greg and Stephen and Fiscal Court. But I think we've finally got close. So Greg, if you or Stephen or both would like to come up and tell us what happened. We extended the bid, opened the bids at 9 o'clock this morning here. And Stephen, if you want to go over it a little bit, and then I'll talk a little bit.
Okay. Basically, at 9 o'clock this morning, we opened the bids up. We had 2 bidders. I guess 2 weeks ago, the 18th it was, we had a pre-bid meeting out there and had 20 contractors / subcontractors show up. The first bid was $489,500, and that was from Mitchell Construction, and the second bid was from Hawkins Construction of $641,700. The budget for the bid was about 400 and I think we'd estimated right around 450,000. And with project funding, there was a TE grant of 440,000 that was awarded back a few years ago, with a match from the county totaling the total budget would be 550. When you take out engineering and architectural and archaeology and all the hoops we've had to jump through to get to the point we are, it comes up to be about $15,000 over budget, over the project funds that are available right now.
So what we'd like to ask the court and let you all make the decision is, do we want to go on and rebid this and prolong it a little bit longer, or do we want to bite the bullet and add about roughly $15,000 to our match and go on and award the project and get it done? We have the option of rebidding it, but usually, on state contracts and local contracts, we can call the low bidders in and negotiate. But this is a federal project. You can't do that. You just what you see is what you get, and that's the way it is when you're dealing with the feds. And this is an IST grant, so it's kind of leaving it up to the court to make the decision whether you ought to like Stephen to advertise and rebid the project, or we want to go on with the current low bid and bite the bullet and add the $15,000 to our match and go on and award the project. And I'll count Roger.
I feel like we should rebid it.
Bill Ray?
I would defer to these guys right here, whatever they think.
Will, how long we been on this?
But over 3 years.
I guess we came in about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I know Greg had worked on it in the past with the other phases also.
We got the grant 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe longer than that ago that Bashir was standing out there with the check.
Yeah.
One thing else, the other thing to consider too is that I believe the grant expires pretty soon.
My next question, when does it expire?
Well, Cheryl's here. Cheryl, but we can file for an extension
We
on.
just filed for an extension in December.
Okay.
And we will probably get 3 months to actually work on this as far as accepting the grant or not at this point. We're to the point that either you accept it and bid it and start working on it, or, basically say you don't want to do it.
What will it cost us if we say, well, let's rebid it? And will it cost us extra dollars?
Well, it could.
I mean, somebody's
We
got,
have advertising costs.
I mean, somebody's doing this leg work, it's got to be paid. Correct?
Right, you'll have advertising costs again.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, we could have 15,000 advertising costs.
No,
Good.
no. What's the odds of somebody coming in cheaper? What's the odds of that? You got one that's 150,000 more than the other one.
It's really hard to sort of guess at those things. With only the 2 bids that we had, it's we don't even really have enough to make a, legitimate comparison between, having a third bid would give us a better sense for what the total market is, so.
You got any references on the lower bidder?
Yes, he's a very good contractor. He's working right now on 2 projects for me for the Lexington Fire Department, redoing the main fire station, the restrooms, and the kitchen there. He actually provided a window for the slave quarters when we had trouble with the contractor there completing his work. Mitchell Construction manufactured and installed that last little window there in the project, so he's already worked for you all once before in the past, and he's quite high on my contractor list.
Judge, we have that money anywhere that we could get?
Yes.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Roger. Yeah, my first instinct would be, yes, let's rebid it, but after talking, I mean, we could run into more money on advertising
And bids could come in higher.
and they could. I mean, chances are they might be a little lower, but I don't know how much, but I say give them whatever it is and get it over with. We've argued this.
Well, I mean, they probably got bids on their materials and stuff, and that could go up after the first of the year. I don't know how much they got locked in on what they need, the general contractor.
But as well, they can be change orders on whoever gets it, couldn't they?
It's always possible in a renovation job to have change orders, but if you recall on our past projects, we've been able to pretty much manage that with working with the contractor. Our plans are very detailed and explain the intent of what we expect from the contractor. And again, Mitchell Construction, that's pretty much all they do is renovation work. They understand that it's not like building a new house where you can just count the number of 2x4s and nails and all that. They understand that it's more about the labor than it is the materials for renovation work.
And the project is bid lump sum, so it's not, there's no, if you increase the square footage or he has to do more square footages on his own to do that, it's been bid, it's lump sum, unless we change something or there's some unforeseen major event that would constitute a change order.
I think, you're looking at a $500,000 project and you're coming 15,000 over, that's not
Significant.
that's not blowing it out of the water.
Well, really, and if you'll look at all the unforeseen costs, the archaeological stuff.
Otherwise, you'd be, if it wasn't.
Yeah,
for the
we'd be
repairs,
way under
we'd be under budget.
if we hadn't spent a whole lot of money required by the Heritage Council. We'd be under budget on this project. We've spent a whole lot of money that some of us felt like was kind of useless, but we had to do it.
Well, I'll say go on with it, but I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, I would accept a motion either way.
I move we go ahead with it.
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Roger? If not, Kenny, let's call the roll.
Master Barger,
No.
Master Hughes,
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark, sorry.
Yes.
Got busy, right?
Let's go on with it. They've put so much time, everybody's put so much
I
time into
understand,
this.
Roger, where you're coming from.
Well, just because you rebid it don't mean you got to take the bid. You can turn it down altogether. You can say, well, spend a lot of money here for nothing, but I've seen us do it before.
Well, the only other option is don't do the project, give the grant back.
And then there's some consideration there of whether the money that has been spent, that's been paid, would have
We'd
to
have
be
to pay it
repaid.
back.
Would have to be repaid back to the
Yes.
state, yes.
I brought that to everybody's
The
attention.
timeline on this?
Basically, we should, with your all approving today, we'll get KTC to approve on their end. So I would say that we'll have a contract with the contractor within 30 days at the most, and they have 180 days to complete the work.
Well, it's all inside, so there shouldn't be no.
Right. They have 180 days, and there's liquidated damages if they don't complete on that time frame. So.
Good luck.
Thanks, Stephen. Greg, thank you. Appreciate all the work y'all put into this. Next is, I mentioned the Emergency Operations Center, and I've talked with the court, and this is something that one that we talked about for a long time, and I've talked about it a long time, and with the reconstruction, the $6 million addition, we're really going to have a brand new emergency operations center. And a really good friend of all of us was Merwin Jackson. And Merwin Jackson was instrumental in kicking this project off, the original Emergency Operations Center. He was instrumental in working with FEMA and the federal government to get initial funding to get CSEP really started and that was even before we had a plan out of the depot. Merwin put a lot of time and energy into it, and I just think it would be fitting. And this won't be on that side of the building. It'll just be a plaque placed on the inside of the building that we name the new Emergency Operations Center, the Merwin Jackson Madison County Emergency Operations Center.
I think that's a good gesture, Judge, and I was talking to Carl this morning, and of course I've been around, I can remember when Merwin, his early 80s, approached this court. Of course, we didn't have any idea what he was talking about, but I'll tell you one thing about Merwin Jackson. If he's on your team, he's going to make sure things are done right. And I compliment him. I don't care what you asked him, he'd give you a straight answer, and he'd tell you the truth. And I wouldn't think you could name it after anybody that would make you prouder. So I would move that we do that.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, let's brag on Merwin a little bit.
All right, Bill Ray, let's go.
Because just what Larry said back when he started, and before we even knew the impact of what was coming our way, he had a pretty good feel for it. But he knew that these facilities, they need to be more than just about the nerve agent out at the depot. He wanted to make sure that these facilities and organizations would support all disasters, emergencies in the county, and all encompassing, and that we would just more than benefit because of the investment out there. And Carl comes along and such a big help, and his dream has come true. I mean, we support all kinds of emergency activities because of that funding and because of his leadership. So I think it's a good idea, and we're fortunate to have a guy like Merwin in our community.
Any further comment?
Carl, he laid the groundwork, and it's up to you to follow it.
I'm trying to do my best, but that's,
You've done a good
that's
job.
a tall order to follow. Merwin L. Jackson's a pretty special person.
Yeah.
Good.
But
Glad you feel that way.
he's followed with the best. Carl's good too. Okay, no further discussion. I've got a motion on the floor and a second. Kenny?
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Judge's report, which we don't do anything other than I just want to mention to the court that we had a claim to pay, and we always try to help the rescue squad. They are so vital and important to the emergency services in Madison County, and we support them as we do the volunteer fire departments. And we've always helped them with their liability insurance, and we've submitted a claim for $4,000, which is less than half of their liability insurance. So I just wanted to mention that, Kenny, and put it in the minutes. You all signed off on it, so it was mentioned. Mark, that's sufficient, isn't it? Okay, other than that, the next court meeting will be a special call meeting Monday, January 5th, where Judge Taylor will preside and get his feet wet a little bit.
At 9:30, Judge.
9:30. And I'd like to invite everybody to come out to that one too. And with that, the motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Is that going to be you?
Yeah.
Meeting?
Running on